Y'all ready for this? Let's dive in. Whew. All right. So, ClickUp for Amazon sellers. Let's talk about this real quick. And I do want to frame a little bit of this for you. So, I was introduced to the magical world of online selling when I was in high school. I'm just going to tell you a little story here. I fell in love with The Lord of the Rings, and the soundtrack came out was when I was in high school. And if you're not familiar with this soundtrack, they released a leather-bound special edition of the album. It had glossy photos of the characters, a bonus DVD, extra features, little stickers. It was cool, and I had to have it. So I was watching this on eBay actually, and I bid pretty aggressively for this soundtrack. And I'm right there glued to my computer watching it. And at the very last second, not even joking, the very last second, I was outbid and I lost the auction. I lost out on the Two Towers soundtrack. I lost it. But then I discovered the story has a happy ending. I bought the soundtrack from the company website for half the price that it went on eBay and bought a second copy of it. And I posted that bad boy on eBay and I got double the price what I had paid for both of them. And I pocketed a pretty profit. So over the years, I've had the chance to dabble in some online selling on many platforms: Mercari, eBay, Amazon, others. There's quite a few principles out here that can apply whether you're a professional seller or a hobbyist looking to make some extra cash. So what we're covering today in the webinar can apply to any sales that you have across any of these platforms. And we'd like to recognize that selling anything on Amazon is a complex process. Whether you're doing sourcing, you're doing fulfilled by Amazon, you're doing personal selling, you're selling on some other platform, there's a lot of tools that you can use to stay organized. So this webinar is to show you how you can use ClickUp to keep your selling business organized and stay on top of everything that you need to do. This isn't necessarily going to be a tutorial about how to sell on Amazon or teach you how to use all of these various tools that many Amazon sellers use. You start digging into those communities, and everyone's quite passionate about the tools that they implement into their workflows. The goal today is to help you be organized on using ClickUp for your business. So we are going to stay focused inside the ClickUp platform for this particular webinar. But if you are looking for a connection with an external application, I do suggest going to feedback.clickup.com. And we're going to dive right into ClickUp. So right here, you can see my workspace that is open right here. We are looking at the everything view. So right here, we're going to talk a little bit about the hierarchy first of all. We're going to talk about different ways that you can organize your ClickUp for all of the things that you may need to do. And we are going to go into some features that are really going to help you to keep all of this organized. So let's go ahead and dive in. We're going to start with the hierarchy because ultimately your business is a business and you have to keep track of all the things. And the key to scaling and growing, becoming a 5-figure monthly seller, or just cleaning out some of the extra stuff that you may have sourced or found in various places, it's going to be key that you keep it organized and that you have different ways to keep track of all the things. So, brief overview of the hierarchy. Just real quick, if this looks different from your ClickUp, this is the simple layout. So when I click up here at the very tippy top, you can see the sidebar settings, layout size and style, and we have the simple, clean, and modern layout. We are going to complete things in the simple layout right here. It is the one that all of our new accounts are made on. And so this may be what you see. If it doesn't look quite the same, you may have clean or modern. We'll click done and pop over into the hierarchy. So we have your workspace, which is almost like your entire business, if you will. And so the workspace is going to hold all of the things. You want to keep everything as much as possible within one workspace because workspaces are completely separated out. And so if you have multiple workspaces, like if you have a lot of different businesses and stuff, and you have you have things in different workspaces, that means you'll have to click your profile avatar. You'll have to switch to another workspace or another workspace. And that can get, well, that makes it really difficult to keep on top of things. So you do want to have that workspace. And then here at the side, we have spaces. So spaces are like departments of your business. So you can see right here, I have a couple of different spaces set up: listings, operations, personnel, sourcing, and one called ClickUp templates. These are different areas of your business. And you can think of it almost as being like buckets. You have these different buckets in your business that you keep all the things in, and it helps keep it neatly organized so that you can keep track of where everything fits in. Now, the beautiful thing about ClickUp and project management and keeping everything organized is that a lot of times we tend to think of project management as being like, sometimes people like to think of it as like waffles, where everything is completely separated out and everything fits within those little boxes in a waffle. And so, right there, you've got those little boxes. Well, project management and your business doesn't always tend to be that way. It tends to be a little bit more like spaghetti, where everything interacts with everything. And so, when you use the hierarchy effectively, you're able to have the best of both worlds, to where you can click in granularly and see different areas of your business. And then you can zoom out and you can see how it all works together. So, with that, the hierarchy, workspace, space, you can also create folders, lists, and then even tasks and subtasks and nested subtasks up to 7 levels. You can set that within your ClickUps so that you can add those subtasks. Additionally, let me make sure we don't miss this. You can also even add checklists. And what's the difference of a subtask and a checklist, you may ask? Well, a subtask is like a little baby task, and a checklist is a simple to-do item. It is either done or not done. Subtasks will have the same statuses as their parent task, and they will have this whole description area where you can have all kinds of extra data in it. And in the in the subtask, you'll have all the custom fields, all the information, the task description, all the comments, all of these wonderful features right there. The checklists are going to be, let's just show it, a thing that I must do. And it's either you did it or you didn't. Did it or you didn't. And there you go. You can also assign out a checklist item. So there you go, brief introduction of the hierarchy. So how does this apply to a seller in Amazon? Let's talk through some ideas about ways that you can use ClickUp to manage things. So we're going to go over a couple of different things, and we're going to talk about listings and managing items and how you can look into this and how you can organize things effectively in the hierarchy. We're also going to talk about your operations. We're going to talk about some of those basic things that you need to keep track of that help you to stay on top of things. We're also going to talk a little bit here about personnel because, as you're looking to scale, there comes a point where you can't do all the things by yourself and you may have to bring in help. We're also going to talk about some ways that you can organize your sourcing, and we'll also show a few ClickUp handy dandy templates that may be helpful for you. So first off, let's look at how we can organize some of our listings. So whether or not you have your own brand on Amazon or whatever platform you're selling on, you can organize your listings in multiple different ways. So in this particular instance, within Amazon, you have multiple categories that you can use to sell in. So let's say you want to have a home goods category, or you may have a sporting equipment category, or you may be selling books or CDs or whatever category it is that you want to sell in. So let's go ahead and rename this. I did set up a few of these items ahead of time, so we can rename it. Just a little life hack right here. You can click the ellipsis menu. Every time that you see an ellipsis, that means that there is a menu hidden behind it. Click this little pencil and you can rename it. So let's say home goods. So we have that category right there. So this is going to be our listings within the area of home goods. We can also add additional lists to be able to organize the different items that we have listed. So if we create another new list, let's say garden. I got some new plants a few weeks ago. I have little baby raspberries on my back porch. And so I may want to look into what do we have out there in the garden department. I could find items and sell on Amazon. So we're going to go back into these home goods right here. And we have tasks for these different items that we have to sell. And so you want to keep track of the different types of things that you're selling. And so the way that I would describe, the way that I would name these items is to have a task for each individual SKU or each individual item that you have. And so here I just made brand name, item name. So let's just use ClickUp and my name for a lot of these items because it's going to be so much easier to keep track of and we won't have to make up a fake brand. So let's say we were going to build an Amazon store to sell ClickUp items. So ClickUp t-shirt. And so right here, let's say, well, let's use two words right there for ClickUp t-shirt. There's so many ways to spell t-shirt, my friends. So we have this item that we're going to have in our store, ClickUp t-shirt. Then let's go ahead and exit. Let's go through and we're going to say ClickUp. And then we have item number 2. And by the way, for these items, this is all stuff that I made up on my own. So we didn't necessarily use a template here, but I will show you some ClickUp ones that you can utilize immediately in your workspace that are down here in this bottom space. I simply created a space named listings and a list for each of the different categories. So if you're following along and you would like to create these on your own, just follow that. So we have these ClickUp items that we're keeping track of that are going to be in our inventory. Of course, these items don't necessarily fall under home goods, but as you're organizing your items, you'll be able to set up exactly what you need. So here's the thing is as you're looking at this, how do you use some of these basic task functionalities over here? Like with this, we have assignees, due dates, priorities. How can we organize all of this? Well, here's a nice little hack. You can show as much or as little as you need. So here, you may not necessarily need a due date because this serves as it's almost like a database of the items that you have. So you may not necessarily need a due date, and you can just click on this column, go to the bottom, hide column, so you don't have to show that. You might not need priority, but you could hide that. And so you can only see the things that you necessarily need to see. Now, for the assignee functionality, whenever you are working on things in your own workspace, I highly recommend that for best practices that you do use the assignee functionality. When you do that, essentially you're creating an owner for that item. So for this case, if it does come into the assignee right here, I'm the owner to bring in the ClickUp t-shirt. Or let's say I'm going to use my husband right there. I'm going to assign Joe to bring in this other item so that I am responsible for some of these specific things. And because the business is a family affair, we're even going to assign some to my little puppers, Ding Dong. So she's going to be responsible for item number 4 right there. So here you can see that you can create a different task for each of these items. Now, what happens, how can you add the additional information that you need to see? Right here, you can add additional custom fields with as much or as little data as you might want. You see that there are 2 columns right here. One is hidden and one is create a new field. Hidden fields are going to be custom fields that are either already added but simply not shown, or you can create a brand new field. So hidden fields would be things like the comments created by, if you have custom task IDs, which are a functionality of the business plan, you could add those there. These are also very helpful. I like the date updated one so that we can see when was the last time that we reviewed this particular item. Is it outdated? Is there anything that we need to update? Does it have an old logo? Does it have old information? We can show as much or as little as we want within this view. So when I clicked the date updated, you can see items that I did just recently update, like right here during the webinar, and you can see the last time that I updated some of these others. You also can click here to create new custom fields. Well, let's put a quick pin in that because we want to talk about the hierarchy and custom fields. So it's right after lunchtime, so I'm thinking of dessert. And so I like to use this ice cream sundae analogy here to talk about how custom fields work in ClickUp. So think of it like you're holding a container of chocolate syrup that you're putting down on an ice cream sundae. You've got your ice cream sundae right there, and you're putting chocolate syrup on the top. And so it's going to impact every bit of the ice cream below it. So the same thing applies to custom fields. When you add them on the hierarchy, they'll be on that highest level that you add them to, and then they impact everything below. So when it comes to setting things up and adding your custom fields right here, if you wanted the custom field to impact all of your listings, you may want to add them on the space level. Here's how you do that. Remember our life hack about every time you see an ellipsis, there's a menu. So right here, you could go into, there's your space settings, which we'll go over later, but right here are your custom fields. So we have a space field, which is attachments. Super cool because we want to be able to have pictures of our different items added. But we might want to have a new custom field, and we can pick from all different kinds of custom fields. So perhaps let's say that we want to have a rating custom field because we want to see how much do people like it. We can talk about how popular. So we'll just use popularity. Kind of hard to spell real fast. And you can pick that emoji. It is a rating field type. And you can even select the exact emoji that you would like to use to represent that. I love a good old glowing star right there. If you use the colon and then you write it out, it's star 2, one of my favorites. And you can even use that rating number and set it up as anywhere from 1, 2, 3, 4, or even 5 stars. So we want to be able to rate all of our inventory and say, well, this item is performing well, this one is not. So we'll create that custom field right there. And then let's add a new custom field for, well, we want to keep track of the links. So the live link to item. So we want to keep track of what the link is and where it goes. And there we go. We'll just add those ones for the moment. So when we added those on the space level, that means that if I open any tasks here, you see these 3 empty fields. And when I open that, you can see that here they are. Now, these are by default in alphabetical order. If you would like to change that, you can go to your ClickUp settings, which are accessible from the profile avatar. We'll look at ClickUps in just a little bit. But now we want to add it to all of our items here. We're going to create a view that is exactly what we would like to see for each of these listings. And then we're going to save it as the default view for all of these items. Because the beautiful thing about ClickUp is that you don't have to reinvent the wheel every time. You can set things up exactly how you'd like it to be, and then apply that to multiple other places. So let's demonstrate. We'll use this plus sign. Hidden, these are those custom fields that we have created. We'll give that, let's do a nice little refresh so that they show up. Bum, bum, bum. Come on, my friend. Loady, loady, loady. It's shy because you're all watching. So right here, we'll click that plus sign, and there are those custom fields that we added. So we're going to add the popularity, and we're going to link that item. So here you can see on this view, we've added those stars. So we're going to say 5 stars for the t-shirt. I have my productivity on today. I think it's pretty 5 stars. And then this item, let's say I'll give that a 4-star rating because it's not selling as much in our swag store. And there's another 5-star. We're going to say, well, we're going to do 1 star for this one, just so that we can see that right there. Now we have those applied right there. and we have links to the items. So let's say clickup.com, and we have that link. We can also, let's say that we have the same, this is not necessarily going to apply to this particular custom field, but you can set custom fields using the multitask toolbar. Because I'm using the same placeholder website for all of them, I can quickly apply that. But there you can see that I made bulk changes by just clicking those little dots right there. And now I can hit dismiss. So I was able to make those big changes. Now, here's the thing. You can see right here that I'm clicked into only this category of listings. So the changes that I made here aren't going to apply to other views. So if I click into garden, there's nothing. And so I can absolutely go save. What I did here is a view template. So in order to do that, we're going to go to this ellipsis and we're going to go to the template center, save as template. And so listing view, and we'll do that right there. We're going to share that with everyone in the workspace and save. Now, here's where this gets really magical because you may want to have a lot of expansion and you'll create lots of lists within this space to keep track of all the different SKUs that you would like to have. Go to your space settings right here, space settings, and let's look at your default settings for views. Right here, you can choose default view templates. You can see that the list view is a default view. Default view templates, we can select this template, listing view. And when we apply this and save it, that means that this view will be automatically applied to every single new list that is created within this space. So there we saved those changes. Let's click on garden and you can see that any new tasks will automatically have all of those views set up. Now, here's the nice thing. We did talk about list view and how you can see everything, but sometimes spreadsheets are really helpful. You can use a table view so you can see everything as a table. And write the same, just as we did before, you can add a column, these hidden ones, and you can show exactly what you'd like to see. And let's even check over here, template center. Let's browse those templates and let's see what kind of view templates. It looks like we don't have any view templates there for table view. So we can create our own table view template that we can apply right there and go through that same process of showing exactly what we'd like to show. Attachments, popularity, you can see right there a little link to this small one that I have. And right there, hey, cool, we're selling candles. Compliments of pixabay.com, stock photography right there, very beautiful candles. So you can click to see exactly what your inventory looks like. So there you have it. You can set up, and of course, you can click there, hide column, and there you go. We can even hide that column there of the status. You can even pin that one. You can unpin it and have it be exactly how you would like to see things. So we took a few brief moments to talk here about the listings, but let's talk about some of the other stuff that you can keep track of. Want to make sure to cover as much as possible here. In our operations space, we do want to be able to see what are some of the things that you want to keep track of. There are important things to be able to see, okay, what are my accounts showing up? What exactly do I need to see? When do I need to keep track of it? Because if you're getting notifications of renewals in your email, or you're getting pinged in this place or pinged in this other place, or someone's texting you, or someone's on WhatsApp, or there's communication happening all over, it's nice to create lists within ClickUp to be able to keep track of everything that you need to see. So here, let's take a quick look at accounts. I grabbed a couple of quite random ones to be able to show here to give some information that would really help you keep track of some of the costs of selling, some of the urgency of these items, subscription fees, even a formula field that will help you see just how much you're paying every year. So right here, I just grabbed a random little a tool that many Amazon sellers may use, like ClickUp, for keeping track of prices, Seller Central and their fees. And of course, we can't have a webinar on ClickUp without accounting for having ClickUp here. So right here, we do have a task for each of these items, and we can set it as a recurring task because it's very important to stay on top of this. Again, don't forget to use your assignee. Now, let me show you a nice little hack. If I hover over it and I press M, that's going to automatically assign me to this task right there, M, 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 and we are good. How fun is that? Nice little keystroke so you don't have to keep doing all the different things. Less clicks and it makes you more productive. So here we have added custom fields to keep track of these different items. So for those expenses, you can see here are the subscription fees. So for we have also a drop-down custom field for how often do you pay these fees? Is it a monthly fee? Is it an annual fee? How often do you pay this? We also talk about the plan level. We have a text custom field so that you can keep track of what plan it is that you have. How are you using it? What's going on here? Are you on the unlimited plan of ClickUp? And what is the cost of it? So we have those subscription fees right there. Then I also did throw in, because I'd really like to be able to use a formula field to keep track of the cost of this for the entire year. So here's how we set this up. Let's click into here. And so we added a formula field. You can add a formula field by clicking this plus sign and choosing formula. Please do note that a formula field will only take into account numerical custom fields. So you can use those to be able to set up that formula. So here we did add a formula field column for the number of times paid per year and the subscription cost. So times paid per year times the subscription cost, so that we can see how much are we paying for this per year. So with that, let's say Seller Central is $39.99 on a monthly basis. I did set up right here so that times paid per year, and this formula field automatically calculates that time per year. Now, this sounds like it could get kind of annoying, but let me show you some automations that I set up right here to make this easier. Let's show this in action. Let's add a new task. And so let's say awesome tool. So we're going to save that task. There's so many different ways you can create a task just right there, or you can even use the quick create button down here in that bottom corner. So we have an awesome tool that we're going to use, and we're going to assign that to me because I'm responsible for it. The priority, you may have items that like, you have to have this tool. It's going to be crucial for your business. There are going to be some that, if we have to evaluate our expenses, we could cut it. It's not crucial to the business. Or there may be some that you can use the rating system, the priority flags, however you like. So we're going to say this awesome tool is high. We're exploring it. We can use that. The subscription fees are, let's say, $5. So this awesome tool is pretty affordable. And we're going to say monthly. So I set that up $5 monthly. So we're going to say Pro because that sounds like a really cool name. And then let's see. We are going to check on our automations to see which ones got set up, because right here you can click up here in this top corner to see automations and active automations. So we do have a couple of custom field changes. So when the custom field changes, the frequency from any to monthly times paid per year, add that value. Then we also did set one for the annual. So let's just give this little bad boy a refresh. I do see a notification that this probably just happened. So right there, the automation was set up so that when the drop-down custom field changes to monthly, it automatically adds the number to this particular location. And then that calculates that right there. So the beautiful thing is, with working out those payments per year, we can take this, hide this column, and that way you don't have to have any extra information there than what you need. And you can automatically pull those calculations in there so that you can see a big picture view of your expenses. So you're able to keep track of what you have going on. Now, again, because table view is a particularly fun one, let's take a look at it right there. Table, add view. Again, you can just add those custom fields so that you can show all the different items, subscription cost, cost per year, frequency, plan level, and this helps you to get that nice spreadsheet type view. Another nice little hack right here is that you can just scroll like that, right click and copy. And if you needed to take that over to Q&A, or not to Q&A, please excuse me. If you needed to take that over to a Google spreadsheet or an Excel file, you can absolutely copy and paste it right over there and have that data keep track of. Of course, keeping in ClickUp, very helpful, very dynamic right there. You can also use different lists to keep track of different items that you do, such as we have company to-dos right here. You can keep track of the organizational things that you need to do, training resources that you may have. I'll show you a little bit more about this as we get into our information down here. But you can have your training resources as a task so that you can easily keep track of everything it is that you need to scale and grow in your business. Now, personnel. You don't necessarily do everything by yourself. So here you can have a space just to keep track of the personnel. So in this case, I have tasks for staff. And this is a great place for you to keep track of what each person does. So I have a task with the name of me, and I use this particular area of the task, the description, to keep track of what is my responsibility in the business. What do I do? Am I sourcing, listing, monitoring pricing changes? You can use all of that to keep track of it. You can also use this task to be like, hey, and you can mention, we'll do assignees because you can't mention yourself. Can you follow up with this action item? And then you can absolutely assign this comment to myself, comment here, and you have this item that you need to follow up with right there. It also has that resolve button, and you can see exactly who has resolved this. So you can keep track of who is doing what. So right there, you have the employees, Holly and Joe. I haven't given Joe any basic job description yet. I'll have to figure out what part of the business he's going to be running. So let's say Joe is responsible for sourcing and monitoring and the financials. He's CFO. How cool. So right there, you can add information into the task description to keep track of them. And then here, let's say you have contractors who have very specific jobs. They may not necessarily be doing all of the things, but you have that contract right there, and you can the contractors right there so you can keep track of who does what. So Ding Dong is responsible for listing and shipping. Fantastic, using those strengths right there. You can use that personnel area even to also keep notes on contractors that you work with. If you have your own Shopify website, or you've outsourced some of the posting onto Amazon or listing your items, you can have contractors there and even have information and say, okay, it was great to have this person. You can have notes there so that you know if you want to work with them. So let's say 5 stars, 5 stars would hire again. And so right there in that comment, I would hire Ding Dong again. How fantastic. So we can have that plus sign, and we can even show the latest comment so that you can see the most up-to-date information about what you have, what your experience was with this particular teammate. Now let's talk about sourcing, because you may have your own brand, or you may be sourcing from another website, another place, whether it be physically going into stores or operating as a drop shipper. And so you want to keep track of what's good, where can you get items that are going to be profitable. And so when it comes to sourcing, it's very helpful to see where are you sourcing from and how can you keep track of things. So here I do have a space set up for sourcing, and I have different lists for the different areas that I may be sourcing from. So you may find that Walmart or Target or whatever other store is a really good place to buy things. And so you may have a list for that particular location and have some items that are your to-dos. So let's say you have an item that you're sourcing and replenish on a monthly basis, and you want to keep track of that. Here, you can open this. You can add attachments of your receipts because you'll want to be able to keep some of that information available to validate your purchase. And here you can also add a due date. Now, when you are doing that sourcing on a monthly basis, you want to use your recurring tasks. So for that due date, it may be that you want to check on this product on the 15th every month. And so you're going to hit set recurring, and you can choose different options right here. So let's say you want to do it monthly because you replenish on a monthly basis, same day each month on a schedule. You can just change the due date, or you can create a new task. I personally, for a situation like this, recommend just changing the due date, and you can recur forever. You can also choose the status that you would like it to be in. I have simple statuses to do and complete set up in this particular list, and we'll save this. So right there, the due date is today, and I mark that complete. Let's give that just a second. You can see that it just changed for that next month on May 1st. That's due again. So here you'll be able to have that history in the comment section of your previous receipts, any activity, any notes that you may have, as it essentially serves as a reminder of the item that you're sourcing and replenishing on a monthly basis. Don't forget, assign, assign, assign. So here's one that you're sourcing and replenish weekly. Let's go back into those recurring tasks, due date, set recurring, and then let's go with weekly. Right here, you can see that laid out on the calendar. Here's how often, and let's go ahead and recur that forever. You can update the status and save. So there again, due today, and we'll give it a moment, and you can see that the due date has changed to April 8th. On the Unlimited Plus plans, when you add a view, calendar view, you can see future recurrences on your calendar. So right there, you can see in those dots, the dotted line around it, that's the future recurrences. Please note, if you are using the Google Calendar integration integrated with your ClickUp, you won't see future recurring tasks on your Google Calendar. They can't appear there because they're literally not made yet. So whenever this task finishes and recurs, when you set it to done, it basically just switches that due date over and over and over and so forth, even as you go forward. You can see that. But let's say that you want to set up your different items that you source. And so there may be seasonal items. So with Easter coming up, there's a season attached to a lot of those items, except for when you suddenly realize you want jelly beans in September because, well, you never know when you're going to want jelly beans. So you can have holiday item that you source. And so here you have that holiday, and you know, based off of demand, supply, demand, economics, all that good stuff, that you're going to want to have some of these things available ahead of time, because there's going to be someone who wants to purchase a Christmas tree in October. And we've all seen the craft stores. They put out their Christmas decorations super early. So you'll want to keep track of your holidays and when you want to put items out early. So you may know that in September, you want to start sourcing for your holiday items. So let's say, let's test this one out. Natural language processing is really cool. 3 months before Christmas. Let's see what that does. July, not quite. But with the natural language processing, let's say, normally it'll take dates that you put in. I think I got a little too crazy there with the 3 months before Christmas. So let's say September 1st. So right there, when I type that, it automatically adds that September 1st date. And there we can close that. And so you'll see that holiday item that you want to start sourcing there early. And here you can keep notes on those different holiday items that you're going to want to have and keep track of. And of course, don't forget assign it to yourself. You can also, of course, add those different views that you would like. So you may find that when you are looking at some of these sourcing items with these store locations, remember how we saved that default view template? We can absolutely go to this list. Let's add from the template center, browse templates. Let's see that listing view. Let's use it. And there we go. We've also added all of those custom fields to this particular location. So we've got that. Now it did overwrite where we had, if we had any other items showing. So we had not shown the latest comment, but we can show that there. There we go. How nice that you're able to quickly and easily apply that. Now, if you have a website that you source from, same thing. Item you source, another item you source, and here you can keep those details. Another thing to keep track of is that as you're sourcing from perhaps another website, you may have minimum inventory that you want to have on hand. So you can just keep that noted right there. And so you can keep track as you go. You can create these recurring tasks. Perhaps you check it weekly, perhaps you check it every other week. It just becomes an easy way to keep track of things. Now, let's talk real quick about growth because every business is going to grow, or at least you want it to grow. And so, how can you repeat your processes and train? We're going to talk about a really cool way to keep track of your documentation. So, again, remembering the hierarchy, spaces, and lists, you can add these different views to different levels of the hierarchy. And so, in our sourcing space, on the space level, we added a doc view by clicking plus view and then clicking doc. So I'm going to show you this doc view that I created because ultimately you're going to want to train people in repeatable processes. Processes are great when they're inside your brain. You are so smart. You can do so many things with this. But your business won't grow if it lives only inside your head. It's when you're able to communicate that externally so that other people can buy into your vision. They can help support you to do exactly what you need in order to grow your business. So that's why I highly recommend creating SOPs, your standard operating procedures. Using ClickUp Docs allows you to keep track of those SOPs. And so by adding a doc view, you can keep high level information about your sourcing secrets. And so here you can answer, when do you replenish? What do you look for? What are your strategies? You can use formatting options. Let's just click that. Formatting right there. And you can use the slash command to add all kinds of awesome formatting within docs. So once you get the hang of your favorite slash commands, one of my favorites is the banner. I like banner success because hello success. And look at that. You can add multi-lines in there. So important information that you'd like to highlight. This information is super important. You can also hit Shift Enter to have multiple lines. If you hit Enter again, then it exits out of that banner and you're able to say, thank you, ClickUp for telling us about this upgrade. So you're able to exit out of that banner. You can also add an emoji. So let's put a nice little glowing star. This information is super important and you can highlight that and format it to make sure that it stands out for your team. You can even add a table of contents so that when you click on these headings and subheadings, you can have that doc easy to access, read, and review for your team. Additionally, I'd like to highlight this functionality, which is Clip. This only works on the browser version of ClickUp and is a Click app that needs to be turned on. Say that 5 times fast, my friends. In the bottom corner of your screen, you can click here and see Record Clip. And this allows you to create a clip recording of your entire desktop, your full screen, anything that you might want to record. So as you're growing your team and you have information you like to pass to them, you can record a clip and embed it directly within this doc. And then as they're going through the process, they can just click play and be able to see it. I'm not actually going to click it on the webinar because It would be like Clickception to have that happening directly within that doc as I'm showing you the sourcing SOPs and the information right there. But you can absolutely keep that information easily accessible for your team. A video can be worth 1,000 words. And so, anything that you can do to help your team be able to easily see information that they need will be absolutely wonderful. Best of all, with these pages, again, you can see multiple ellipses. So there's right there with all these extra formatting options. And then right here, you have the option to print, show it as full width, nice and wide right there. Even see that doc history, add nested pages, move it, attach files, import, export, even see your word count. All of that is right there. But if you want to share your data, you can click share and have a public sharing link that you can share with this doc. Additionally, you can embed it into via iframe embedding. As long as your site does allow iframe embedding, you can copy this code. And well, let me just show you what the iframe code looks like. Excuse you. And right there, you'll see, oh, it just automatically embedded right there for me. Embed within an the doc within the doc. We're going to remove that embed. No, thank you. So you can see it just has that link right there and we are golden. So right here, click this link, copy link. Let's go to this other tab and you can see a view only version of that SOP. Very helpful to share it with anyone external to your organization. Perhaps you have an assistant who doesn't necessarily need to see everything within your workspace. And so you can just share that SOP via a public link. Or maybe you have a friend who says, hi, I need a little help. Can you share some information? And you want to share a little bit of high level data there with them. We only have about 10 minutes left, so I do want to show you real quick a couple of ClickUp templates here that may be helpful as you're getting started. We do have a couple named Inventory Management and Order Fulfillment. And these are folder templates that you can access from your template center. To access the template center, click the plus sign right here, Template Center, and Browse Templates. So right here, you can browse those and find templates that are pre-made by us to help you get an idea and inspiration on how you can use the platform. So right there, you can add any of those to your workspace. And I went ahead and added a few. Remember, you can set custom fields on the space level, the folder level, and that list level, and what your views are going to look like. So right here, when I click on the folder level for inventory management, you can see statuses are in stock, out of stock. Let's click and look at them. Click that ellipsis menu, folder statuses. So we have in stock, out of stock, and no longer used as our closed status. So that may be a great way to use your statuses for your inventory. When we exit, we can see all the different custom fields added here. Vendor contact information, vendor name, when the next order may be, the cost, quantity, cost per unit. I went through backwards just for a little change of pace. And here you can have an ops manager, which is a people custom field. You can also see how many different kinds of views have been added so that you can explore the functionality and see and get inspiration on this. So order updates would be a chat view. So here you can add a chat view on the space, folder, or list level of the hierarchy so you can have conversations with your team. Hey, team, spell team correctly. That would be cool. How are our orders today? And then you can mention others. So let's say at Joe, at Ding Dong, right there. So we can just add that comment. And then you can have conversations, even in threaded replies. They are great. I'm such a great conversator, talking there with myself. But this is a great place for you to be able to keep different chats. Operations, right here, you can see all this different vendor contact information, item requirements, any information is kept in these docs with nested docs right there to have additional information that you may want to add. You can add descriptions, anything else that you want. Let's even look here. You have a lot of places where you can add it. This template doesn't have them pre-filled out, but use your imagination. The world is your oyster. Timeline view, we'll put these items on a timeline. You can always drag and drop to see them on there and put them on. And of course, table, pretty fantastic for getting to see all the things. And we'll take a quick peek through the order fulfillment one. By the way, I would like to invite y'all, because we're about to that point, drop some questions into the Q&A, and we'll be happy to answer some of them live right after I finish showing you this other template. So the order fulfillment one right here does have purchase orders that are in, and you have a form view right here. Very helpful if you do want to utilize this functionality. You can drag and drop different task fields right here, so that when you share a link to that form, that is a feature of our Unlimited Plus. Well, look, it's not available. So let's go ahead and click here. We've got that list that we want to save to. Let's flip it as active. You have to make your form active. Thank you, Joe. I see your question. We'll cover that. We'll put that as active. We do have to select a list for these items. So we'll put purchase orders, click it to active, and now we can. How rude. It is being rude right now. So let's share that. We will copy that direct link and we will show that form. And there you can fill out the order form right there. So you can see how you have that. You can use that form view if you wanted to do some of those purchase orders like that. And you can see within these lists, the product, they're using a label custom field, the cost, order quantity, vendor, and even links to docs within ClickUp. So right there, you can keep track of all of that and the raw materials that would be needed. So with that, we have walked through these ClickUp templates right there, and we've gone through all of these different spaces and some ideas on how you can use this. So I'm going to go over to the Q&A. Don't forget, in the Q&A section, not the chat, to go over a couple of questions live. So Joe McKenzie, I'm sorry, Joe, I apologize for mispronouncing your last name. I am so sorry. However, he asked, can you add Amazon sales reports directly into ClickUp? Not at this time. That is a requested feature, which you can vote on at feedback.clickup.com. We do know that the Amazon sellers community is strong and fantastic. And so if that is an integration that you are interested in, that is something that you can vote for. I did some research specifically on some integrations that would work within ClickUp. And one that is coming soon is with automate.io. Automate.io has an Amazon Seller Central integration coming soon. Now, on their website, they just say coming soon. They did not indicate a timeline, which is quite unfortunate because I would love to give you a timeline, but I don't have that. So you can vote at feedback.clickup.com. We'd love to see that vote. So, Stefanos, if you're having form issues, would you please write to us at help@clickup.com so that we can assist you? I'd also love to point out to everyone while we're here, you can go to the Help Center. You can click that little button, connect with ClickUp, chat with our support team, and you can start a live chat with ClickUp. Our usual response time is under 1 hour. So, hey team, I have a quick question about forms. They seem to be giving me trouble. And so here you can just send that message, and our team is watching for these. We're not quite, there we got some articles right there that may help. So it has some links, form view, more in the help center, some links that can assist, but our team will reach out. Our response time right now is under an hour. Super cool. And we're working on getting that to that live chat. All right. So looking, Guy has some conditional. Let's look. Guy has a long list of tasks. Some are conditional. And so you could use custom fields. So if you got an authorization to continue, keep on, or else return to the starting point. So you could set up some automations. So, never mind, team. Never mind. I found the answer. Just in case the team sees that, they don't know, they don't need to respond. So right here, you could do an automation so that if custom fields get changed, like let's say that you have an approval. So you could say an approved drop down custom field, then you could say change status. So if approved, kind of like, let's look at this. So in our listings, home goods, which one did I have the custom field? No, it's in the operations. So in the accounts. So if like the drop down is, let's add then. If drop down, let's do custom field changes, drop down from any to, and let's say you have approved or not approved, then you could have a change status. So you want to have any to approved, change status to move forward. And then if there is a not approved, change the status to the beginning status, whatever the open status is. So that may be helpful for you as you're looking through managing, going back and starting over if you need to. I hope that helps, Guy. What a great question. We do have about 2 minutes left. Do want to thank y'all for joining us today. This has been a super fun webinar to spend time with you on. I'm going to watch for maybe another question. I really appreciate y'all making the time to join us today. It has been an absolute honor to spend an hour with you talking about some different ways that you can organize your business, your Amazon selling business. Thank you for making the time to join us. It has been absolutely fantastic. And we appreciate you and hope you have an absolutely fantastic day. Don't forget, the replay will be up within 24 hours on our YouTube channel. And as always, reach out to us at help@clickup.com if we can assist with anything else in the future. Take care now.